Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Career Circles Workshop, Building a Strong Personal Brand. I'm excited to have you here as we dive into effective ways to build and grow your professional network. Whether you're exploring a new industry or looking to advance in your current field, today's session will provide you with practical tips to help you to make meaningful connections and open new doors in your career. We're currently recording this webinar to ensure accessibility for all participants. You can also enable closed captioning via your browser. We recommend using Google Chrome, where you can click on the three dots in the upper right-hand corner, click on Settings, and then Accessibility. You may refer to the screenshot in the presentation. Reference a breakdown of instructions on how to access closed captioning on different browsers in the content section to your right, or reach out to one of our Career Circle employees in the tech support booth in the lobby to assist you. All of the resources that we discussed today and more can be located on the Content tab near the People and Discussion feed to your right. All resources and the recording will be emailed to you after the event. I repeat, all resources and the recording will be emailed to you after the event. Please make sure to watch until the end, as our amazing panelist has a wealth of knowledge to share. Before we get started with introduction, here's a QR code for our survey. You can open it on your phone and share your feedback with us. We'll be doing a raffle for our respondents, and one of you will win a Career Circle tote bag. The winner will be contacted next Friday, October the 30th. If you miss it, no worries. We'll send the survey in our post-event email too. But if you want to give us your thoughts during the event, we'd love to hear from you. Now, with that being said, my name is Brittany. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I currently work at Career Circle as the Learning and Development Specialist. I have black shoulder length hair, brown eyes. I'm wearing a animal print jumpsuit, and I am currently sitting in my office. All righty. Now I'd love to pass it over to you, Stephanie, for you to be able to give us your descriptive introduction.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stephanie Leone, and I'm a career coach here with Career Circle. My descriptive introduction is that I have blonde hair, glasses, blue eyes. I'm wearing a black top, blouse, and yeah, that's my description.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We're super excited to start this conversation. Let's begin by outlining what networking is and why it matters for your job search.
Thank you, Brittany. So I'll start by giving you a background about myself. I come from higher education, where I've been a career services director and community outreach, working with undergraduate students, graduate students, and also adult program students. I have also worked with workforce development students and individuals, adult learners as well, who are seeking to upskill, attain certifications. I was with CompTIA for 3.5 years, working with individuals who were getting their IT certifications, and then also working very closely with employer partners, recruiters, to place individuals into job opportunities. And here at Career Circle, I am a career coach advisor, working in a similar capacity, working with individuals to develop them professionally and also place them into job opportunities with recruiters. So we're going to go ahead and get started and talk about networking and why it matters to you. Ultimately, right, we want to make sure that we're building our personal brand. And so the process of building and nurturing professional relationships in order to exchange information, support, and opportunities. That's essentially what networking is. If you think in terms of your professional network, right, you also have a personal network. And that personal network takes work as well, whether it's your family, your friends, your colleagues, but your professional network is very similar, right? You have to build upon those relationships in order for them to grow. And so think in terms of that If you're here, if you're searching for a role, if you're in a role, you want to figure out how to network more efficiently. Think in terms of non-transactional, but more relationship oriented, right? So it takes time to build those relationships. You don't want to just come off as being transactional. If you're someone here that's job seeking and you're reaching out to someone else, a recruiter, a hiring manager, because you're interested in a job opportunity, that's great. But at the same time, you also want to work on building that relationship with them, whether that's sending a quick message through an online platform to connect with them, asking them questions. I think that's very important, is to make sure that you're listening actively and you're asking questions. And again, just making sure you're really fostering that mindset that you want to build something with that individual, and this is not just a transaction that's taking place. And again, that's professional. That's also in your personal capacity as well. Relevance. So over 70% of jobs are found through networking. We all know, as we're looking at the job market out there and looking at what jobs are being posted, right? It can be daunting, intimidating to see so many opportunities. And sometimes you apply and you may not even get a response back. So that's where networking really comes into play. So really using whatever online platforms you have, also in-person type of events we'll talk more about a little bit later, so that you can actually get in front of individuals to work on networking and build those relationships. Also helps access the hidden job market. So networking opens doors to a job market that you never even knew existed, because those opportunities are not always posted out there online for you to see. So giving you an option to meet with a recruiter or meet with someone within an organization and talk more, just getting to know them. But also, you never know what type of opportunity might present itself. So it really is a hidden job market out there that could potentially help you. And networking builds credibility and visibility in your industry, right? So the more you network, the better position you are in. It definitely brings you more credibility, gets your name out there, especially if you're going in person. If you're attending any sort of networking events, could just be some sort of meet and greet, mingle event that's going on in your city or city over. I guarantee you, if you go, you're bound to meet somebody, and that's going to, again, help your return and build your network. So while we're on that topic, pro tip, let's get started today. So if you have your LinkedIn profile, if you don't have it, it's fine. I'll give you a second. Go ahead and pull up your LinkedIn profile and copy your URL and drop it in the chat. Get a chance to, get to know who else is here on the call today. Again, you never know who you are going to meet. So feel free to share your LinkedIn profile in the chat there. So we're talking about operational networking, personal, strategic, and also there are differences when we approach various types of networking, right? So when it comes to operational networking, these are typically people who are involved in your current role, the current job that you're in. So think in terms of your boss, your coworkers, your employees, any clients that you might be encountering on a daily basis. So it's important to know that how you interact with these individuals professionally, that can really determine your character, your reputation when it comes to other capacities and other areas of networking in your life. So obviously, right, we always want to make sure we're in an operational setting, making sure we're being responsive very quickly to our employees, our clients that we're working with. Obviously, attendance is a big deal. Having a great attitude, those kinds of things when it comes to even your own current network really go a long way and help you build and prepare for the future networking that you're going to have. So personal networking, very similar. These we're talking about family, we're talking about friends. These are people who you might have something in common with, something that you share, such as a hobby, a personal characteristic. And so just as you were to build and work on your personal relationships, you also want to make sure that you're building your operational network as well. So again, that's with your colleagues, your coworker, your boss, and so on. So really trying to strive and create that all around impression. And again, it builds credibility. It shows who you are as an individual, as a person, and also in the workplace, what you have to bring to the table as well. And then strategic networking. So in terms of strategic networking, we're talking about people who can help you achieve your long-term career goals. So these are individuals who could be a mentor to you. They could be industry leaders. And again, you're going to meet some of these individuals as you're reaching out through LinkedIn. You're online, you're in meetup groups, you are again attending any sort of events, conferences that are in relation to your industry, your field that you're in. And so you really want to work on fostering those strategic networks. Those can actually help bring you long-term career opportunities. And so focus on networking and building those as well. And then there are differences, right? So you may not approach your personal network the same way that you would approach your operational network, right? Obviously, family and friends versus colleagues that you're working with, know that there are difference in the two or even the three here as you're, reaching out to these. Vary your tone, your content, your frequency based on the relationship that you have with that network. And then also tailor outreach to the person's role and the connection that you have with that individual. Online versus offline networking. So we all know, right? Ever since COVID happened, online, virtual, everything became a thing. And it's kind of built ever since then. And so the online platform for networking is tremendous, and it's a great way for you to get your name out there, help build your personal brand, bring you credibility. So some of the platforms that you can use for online: LinkedIn, Twitter, professional forums, also virtual career fairs. All of these are ways that you can build upon your network. Career Circle, we host career fairs. There's one coming up next month. We had one just earlier this month. Those are a great way for you to get out there, have a chance to talk with a recruiter or a hiring manager, even get to know other individuals that are in the same industry that you're in, and focus on really trying to build up your network. It's always great to meet other people who are also in the same industry, right? Because then we can pick their brain, we can ask them questions, get more knowledge so that we can essentially grow and also, of course, build our network. Twitter is another great place outside of LinkedIn. So if you're using that professionally, again, another way that you can build upon your network, even outside of your personal network. Professional forums, meetup groups are really good for that too. And then the easier access to a wider audience. So obviously with things being virtual or online, if you are really someone here who's trying to build your network quickly, this is a great way to use online networking to do so. You have more visibility that way and can really connect with a lot of individuals at one time. Obviously, you can make posts on any of your platforms that you have, LinkedIn especially. Introduce yourself, as you're seeking to find individuals within the same industry that you are in, looking at articles through the platform of that are of interest to you within the industry you're in. So there's so many ways that you can go about working and building on that online network. And it's really great, again, for helping build your personal brand and also a digital presence. So if you're not on LinkedIn yet, I would definitely encourage you to sign up, make an account, and go ahead and get started and start networking and meeting people. Offline networking. So there are tons of industry type events out there that you could attend, conferences, workshops, meetup type groups within even your own city. So take advantage of those. Again, that is not just a way to meet people. You'll do that anyways while you're there, but it's also a way to gain credibility. So once you've gone, you're able to show those things also on your resume. That's another really great thing when you attend conferences and events and workshops and those kinds of things. That's how you start building up your credibility, sharing those things out on your LinkedIn profile or groups that you're in. Also, sharing those things on your resume as well is definitely going to help you a lot when it comes to potential job opportunities or, again, just to build your network in general. Stronger personal connections and trust. So there is something to be said about being face to face with individuals, right? So being face to face, you have the ability to see someone up close and personal, sit down, have a coffee with them, chat, get to know more about what their position or role is within the industry. And then it's quicker sometimes because you can build trust with them and more rapport than going back and forth sometimes when we're talking about using online networking. So there are a lot of really great benefits to being face to face and in person with someone when you are at these events and conferences. And it often leads to more meaningful follow-up. So typically, if you think about it, when you're out even with a friend or a family member and you're having a cup of coffee or something like that, that tends to lead to the scheduling of the next meetup that you're going to have. So it really does sometimes often lead to more follow-up when it comes to networking. So I encourage you to think about both of these forms of networking and take the step to, if you're not online yet, you're not using all the platforms and resources that you could be using, think about getting started on that. And then if you're not attending any events, you're not attending any conferences, again, another great way. Because overall, combining these two together, it definitely will help you have a very well-rounded strategy when it comes to attacking your networking. Leveraging LinkedIn. So we want to talk more about optimizing the LinkedIn profile. So if you have a LinkedIn profile here, that's great. If you don't have one, that's fine too. We're going to talk a little bit about how when you do create an account, you can get that set up and work on maintaining it and building it. But when you first log in and you create an account, you're going to have the ability to use a professional photo. And so at this point, again, it does not have to be anything that's too crazy out there, expensive. You can get someone to take the photo for you. You can set up your own camera and take the photo. As long as it looks professional, you can clearly see, at least from your head up down to your neck, then that shot's going to be fine. The main thing is the lighting and the visibility. And then when it comes to creating a headline, you have the ability to customize what headline you would like to have on your LinkedIn profile. You can set that header to something relevant to the current position that you're in and what industry that you are working in. And then you can even go a little bit further and customize that and add something more along the lines of what your aspirations might be. So if you're someone here who's aspiring, for example, to enter into the tech industry, that might be something, a compelling headline that you might want to use in your LinkedIn profile. So really take the time to think about not just where you are now, but also where you might want to be in the future and share that out. If you're someone who's very involved in the community and you want to highlight something like that in your headline on your LinkedIn profile, you can also do that. Any of those ways are what's going to help bring you the attention, right? And also show ultimately who you are and what your personal brand is. Writing a strong summary and highlighting your skills and goals. So when you're in LinkedIn, you log in, you'll see there is an about section. So that is where you can then enter your summary. And same thing when it comes to the summary as the header. You really want to hone this. You want to make it your own. So work on highlighting things, where you're in your current role, achievements or accomplishments maybe that you've done, or the type of role that you're in, the industry that you're in, also talking about the aspirations that you have, where you want to see yourself coming up in the future in a role or an industry or position. When we look at the resume, it's a blank sheet of paper. And when recruiters look at it, they see obviously the content, employers, the same thing. So this is an opportunity for you to really kind of share outside of that document a little more personality, a little more about who you are and what you have to bring to the table and what goals you might have. Engage actively. So on LinkedIn, you can share out industry relevant content and insights. So as you're scouring through LinkedIn and you're looking at all of the articles that are being posted, all of the material that is out there for your review, you can also share that content out. And if it's something that is important to you, something that captures your eye and your attention, and speaks to the type of industry that you're in or that you want to be in, feel free to also share that information out there. It shows individuals when they visit your profile, say you've applied for a position and a recruiter or someone has accessed your profile, they can then see with the activity log that you've have and what content you've been looking at, what you've been sharing out. And that shows that you like to stay relevant, up to date with current events, and you're knowledgeable about the industry that you're in or the industry that you want to be in. So a really great tool for you. You can also comment on posts. You can join groups and follow key organizations. I think that's a great way to also show that you're interested in various opportunities, industries, content that's out there. So feel free to, as you're scouring through all of the content there, you can also comment on that content. You can join various groups throughout LinkedIn. It could be a group about cybersecurity, for example. These could be individuals who are in that industry, and you just want to, even if you're not in the industry, you want to get in the industry, you want to join that group because you want to get a chance to meet other individuals. That gives you that opportunity. So take advantage of what is out there and available to you. And then again, follow key organizations. So you can follow other companies through your LinkedIn profile, companies that are of interest to you, just that are in the same industry that, might catch your eye, whatever it might be. You have the ability to maintain and build your profile the way that you want to. And I will say the worst thing you can do is create a profile and just leave it hanging and not maintain it, not build on that profile. So if you're building a profile or if you're creating a profile, make sure you're at least going on there weekly, maintaining it, sharing some content out, and really showing that you're interested, you're active on that platform, because sometimes, and most of the time, that's the first place recruiters or individuals will go if they're looking for individuals. And again, a great way to show that you're interested and ready to network within that industry. Participate in discussions and share helpful resources. Don't spam or just self-promote. So it's great, right, to self-promote on LinkedIn. It shows who we are. It shows our accomplishments, achievements, which is great. We have to be able to sometimes talk about ourselves and brag about ourselves. But at the same time, we also want to make sure that we're doing other things on LinkedIn. So we're participating in any sort of discussions, again, joining any groups, also sharing helpful content throughout the platform. So if you're in your current role and your company is offering some sort of resources that could be helpful to the general public, that's an opportunity for you to share something out. You never know who you might be able to help. And then also in turn, you never know how that could one day come full circle and something content-wise or resource-wise be able to help you out as well. Leverage your existing relationships. So LinkedIn gives you the ability to reconnect with former colleagues, classmates, and mentors. Just like if you were using any sort of social media platform, that's what that essentially does, right? It gives you the chance to connect with family, friends. Well, similarly in the workplace, this is where we go to manage those relationships. So joining LinkedIn gives you the ability to be able to do these things all in one. Keep your network updated on your job search. So you're able to keep your network updated, letting them know where you're currently at for employment. And then if you are accepting a new position, you can then go on your profile. You can change your status to a new role, new company or organization on there. So once again, a great way to leverage your relationships that are existing and also the ones that you are looking to build on there. Identifying influential people in your field. So I think that this is probably one of the most talked about items that as a career coach that I go over when I'm talking to individuals on my coaching calls is that you have the ability to actually search for individuals, recruiters, hiring managers, companies on your LinkedIn profile, and you can then connect with those individuals. If you go to the search bar and you type in, for example, recruiters at the top, and you click on people, up will pop an entire list of recruiters. And based off of how you have the filter set, if it's set to your location, you could see even hundreds of thousands of recruiters there. So at that point, you could filter out your city, state if you're looking to connect with someone that is local to you. And then you can just start essentially going down that list and reaching out to these individuals to connect with them. And the nice thing about connecting with recruiters or recruiting or with other individuals through your LinkedIn profile is once you're connected to them, you then have a news feed full of great content, information they're sharing out in the industry that you're interested in, sometimes even jobs if you're reaching out to recruiters and connecting to them. So unlimited amounts of resources are going to be available to you as you are going through LinkedIn and you're building on your network. Attending virtual events to meet industry insiders. So there's all kinds of virtual events that are out there, and there are a lot of free ones out there. So you don't have to worry about paying for those at all, but a great opportunity for you to also meet people and get build your network. Leverage second degree connections for warm introductions. So if you have a second degree connection, you can ask them for an introduction to someone. That also can help you significantly in your job search, especially if you're someone here, and you're actively on the market. Utilize who you already might have in your network and get those individuals involved. Ask them if they might know someone who could potentially help you in the situation that you're in. So all really great ways for you to leverage your profile to help, again, build your network. A few more here, showcase your credibility. So you have the ability on your profile to add recommendations from colleagues, clients, or managers. You can ask those colleagues if they are willing to write a recommendation for you. You can also send that recommendation, have them send that recommendation directly from their LinkedIn profile over to your LinkedIn profile. And you can, once you read it, you can approve it. You have to review it in order to approve it on your profile. You can give recommendations through LinkedIn as well. So if you've worked with someone and you want to do something nice that day for somebody, reach out to them. I guarantee you will surprise somebody if you reach out to them and you say, hey, I was thinking about you and I'd like to leave you a recommendation on LinkedIn. You would probably really make their day. So think about ways you can also give on the platform, obviously receive, but giving sometimes will get you to that giving place where you want to be. Gather endorsements for your top skills. So if you have not added any skills to your LinkedIn profile, that is something I challenge you to do. Add those skills to your profile, and then you will see you have the ability to leave your endorsements on to where individuals can go on and give you endorsements. That gives you credibility. So it helps build credibility. So for example, if you put leadership as a skill on your LinkedIn profile, then it's open to your network, your public network. They can see you've added it, and then they can go on and leverage endorse you for that skill. So again, that helps build credibility. So when people are visiting your profile, they can see, okay, this person has 10 skills and they have 20 people who have now endorsed them for those skills, each of those skills. So that shows credibility within the industry also that you're in. You can be as technical as you want with the skills, or you can just leave those as soft-based skills. That's entirely up to you. Include relevant multimedia portfolio presentations and video. You can also do that through your profile. Personalize all connection requests. So this is one of the items that I also spend some time talking about as I'm career coaching. So when you are reaching out to individuals, recruiters, employers, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that when you go to connect with that individual, you'll have the ability to write a little note and connect with them when you send that invite to connect. I believe it's only 200 some odd characters that you have, so it is a very brief little note. But you just want to briefly mention why you want to connect with them. Maybe you're in a shared industry that they're in. Maybe you have a mutual contact. Maybe you enjoyed some of the content that they've been posting on the platform, whatever it might be. But just leave something very brief and simple on, why you'd like to connect with them, and keep the message brief. Again, it says 300 character. I believe it's closer to 270, maybe a little bit less there, but keep it brief. But I guarantee you, once that individual gets your connection request, it's like, okay, either we had a mutual contact. Okay, this person is interested in the industry that I'm in, whatever it might be. They're more apt to connect with you than if sometimes they just get a connection request with no out of the blue. So keep that in mind as you're going through and you're connecting with individuals. Leverage LinkedIn features. So you can RSVP and network with attendees for relevant LinkedIn events, webinars, and seminars. Again, we talked a little bit about that. And then you can also take LinkedIn learning courses if you're a premium member. There is a subscription fee to be a premium member, but I also like to share this out, that if you have a local library that you could go to, sometimes they have free access to the LinkedIn Learning. So I would encourage you to call them if that's something you're interested in. Ask them if they have the LinkedIn Learning access, and then you could then go to the library, log in, and access the LinkedIn Learning courses that way. But LinkedIn Learning is great. Again, it comes with the premium profile and a subscription that you pay monthly or annually. But you have access to over 20,000 courses and content that you can upskill on pretty much any subject area that you can think of. And then those courses sometimes range from, I would say, 20, 30 minutes on up to even maybe a month or so. It all depends upon, obviously, the course that you're selecting, the amount of time that you want to spend on that content. And then when you finish that course, you actually get a digital certificate that they give you, and you can add that LinkedIn Learning course to your LinkedIn profile. It will go on the front page of your profile. So when someone visits, they can see then that you've upskilled and you've taken a LinkedIn Learning course. So another really great tool. If you're not using it, I encourage you to take advantage of that. And we'll talk more about the IBM Skills Build courses available to you in a moment. You can also customize your URL. I highly encourage you to customize it. So if you go under your settings on your LinkedIn profile, you'll see it's the top right corner when you're on your home page, and you can click to customize your URL. And that will give you the ability to change the URL from, usually there's a lot of numbers and digits at the end of it. It'll give you the ability to just change it to, for example, your last name and your first name, or your initials, or whatever it might be. Sometimes that profile URL is already taken, so you might have to add some numbers on there or some other lettering in order to be able to use that URL. But what it does is it shortens the URL. It's easier, obviously, to remember, but when you're putting that on your resume, then it's also very short compared to the really long ones that you might see. And that's if you're not hyperlinking it in your resume already. Building new connections. So we want to talk about approaching, conversation, and also the follow-up. So approaching new connections, when you are approaching individuals and trying to work on build your network, these are some tips that you can focus on. So researching their background and what maybe shared interests you might have. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can search individuals. If you cannot find them on LinkedIn for whatever reason, you can also, if their profile is set to public, you can Google that person and then their profile will pop up and you can then click on it. It'll take you to their profile and you can start evaluating and looking at that. Also personalizing your outreach. Mention any mutual connections that you might have, events or content. So another really great way, right? It shows that you are intuitive. You are tracking what it is that they're doing. They're sharing out content that might also interest you. And then as you're connecting with them, you can say, hey, I saw the content, the article that you posted is definitely something that I'm interested in as well in the industry. I'd love if we could connect to have a chat. Something very brief, simple, and it might not work all the time when you're reaching out to individuals through LinkedIn, but it's all about patience. It's all about persistence, continuing to connect with individuals, and that's what the slow build will help you in the future and with your network. And then keeping messages brief, as I mentioned, friendly, and then purpose-driven. Initiating meaningful conversations. So when you are initiating conversations with individuals, open-ended questions tend to go a long way about their work or industry. So that kind of gives them the ability and the floor to open up more to you, explain more about the industry if that's what you're interested in, or maybe a potential opening that you're interested in. But it's really about listening. So obviously asking questions, being inquisitive, those are all really great qualities, especially when you're networking, because it shows others that you are interested in them. You're interested in what they have to say. It's not just you coming and doing all of the talking, right? So take a step back when you're trying to connect with people. Try and ask more open-ended questions and really listen to the responses that are coming across. I think that is a really great way to show your interest and also get you to where you're ultimately trying to get to with that network. Sharing your interests and goals without being overly self-promotional. So we talked a little bit about that with the posting on LinkedIn, right? So same thing as you're having conversations with individuals. We want to be able to tell others about ourselves and who we are and what we do and accomplishments that we've achieved. But at the same time, we don't want to come off as too promotional of ourselves. We also want to make sure, again, we're listening to that individual. And then after you're connecting with individuals, maybe it was a Zoom call they set up, Teams, whatever it might be, phone call, make sure after you connect with these individuals that you send them a brief follow-up message and thank them for their time, usually within 24 to 48 hours after that conversation. Those do go a long way. It might be something that individuals have kind of tailored off on these days, but I can guarantee you that connecting and sending a simple thank you is a very memorable way for you to stand out in their mind. And then reference something specific from your conversation. So if there was something in that conversation that sparked your interest, or you were happy to hear about that, or whatever it might be, you can also reiterate that in the thank you and follow-up message that you're sending. It shows, obviously, once again, that you were actively listening to what that individual said. And then it shows them that you were interested in what they had to say as well. Stay in touch periodically and then share any relevant updates or articles. So then from there, right, it's really just about building the relationship. So find ways to connect with them, even if it's liking a post that they've put out on LinkedIn, commenting on it, sharing their posts, whatever it might be. That's engaging with them and it's building that relationship. It doesn't always have to be a conversation that you have with that individual. It can be little subtle ways that you're showing, you see what they're doing, you're interested. And then the next time when you want to schedule a call with that person, it's not, as if you're coming out of nowhere because you've still shown that interest with them through the platform. Your networking strategies may vary. So we're talking about when you're reaching out to individuals from large companies or small companies. So if you're reaching out and you found the perfect position maybe, and you're very interested in it and you've applied for it, maybe you want to go a step further and you want to reach out to somebody through LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, I've applied for this position. Then your strategy is going to be a little bit different when it comes to the size of the organization. So if it's a large company, then obviously you're going to be more purposeful and targeted with your outreach. You're not just going to go to the owner of the company, if it's a Fortune 500 company or something like that, and reach out to them, because you would probably not ever get a response, but you want to make sure you're going and you're searching specifically for individuals within maybe the department that you applied to. Think about that. Think about the location, the geographic area where you've maybe applied for a position. Then you might be able to reach out to someone in that area. So it's being strategic about who you're reaching out to. And sometimes that takes time. So it's not always easy to go on these platforms and find individuals. It takes time and it does take patience. And then a small company, smaller companies tend to, obviously, they have a lot fewer employees, but it usually is very quick for you to identify who it is that you need to or want to reach out to. And sometimes it might not just be one individual, it might be multiple individuals. These are some steps that can set you up for success if you are going to be attending a networking event, whether it's virtual or an in-person event. So first ask yourself, have you researched attending companies? So if you're going to a career fair event, virtual, in person, a networking event, whatever it might be, think about that in your mind, make up a list and answer these questions. But who's coming to the event? So think about what employers are there, identify in advance whoever it is, which companies you are interested in and you want to meet with. If you can even go a little bit further and identify the positions that might be of interest to you, then do that as well. So you kind of have a heads up before you go on what it is that you can discuss with that person representing that organization. Obviously, what industry they're in, and then any recent news articles. This is a big one. You'd be surprised if you can connect with someone and immediately have some sort of working knowledge of what that organization has been up to. And all you have to do is Google them, look up any articles, news that might be out there so that you can stay updated and relevant. Check out their LinkedIn page. Companies like to post their news and their events on those pages. But just to be able to spark up a conversation with somebody with some pre-existing knowledge that you've already attained, that can really help you go a long way. And then think about what types of jobs are on their careers page. You can also, of course, visit the website and do that. Do they have programs that match what you're looking for? So looking up any programs that might be of interest to you. It lists veteran programs here, returnships, apprenticeships. And then what are the company's values and mission statements? So I always say that's something that you should definitely know. At the bare minimum, you should identify and know what it is they stand for, what their values are, and, to see if any of your values obviously align with what those organizations' values are. That can speak volumes when you're talking with somebody about a position in the company. So when we're approaching these individuals, and we're going to events or talking to individuals over the phone or virtually, whatever it might be, we want to make sure we have an elevator speech experience and summary. And we'll go into a little bit of detail about that. But basically, who are you? So think about, who am I? Pretty simple, right? What are your goals? What are your goals? Current goals? What are your future goals? Have a plan in mind. What can you bring to the table? So what type of experience do you have? What type of skills have you acquired? Maybe transferable skills, and what can you bring to that company? And then think about any experiences and any accomplishments that you might have already. And what goes into an elevator pitch. So we have the intro, purpose, obviously, who are you, the purpose, and who is this for? So thinking about as you're meeting with individuals, recruiters, or companies, what is it that I'm trying to get across to this organization? What is the purpose of what I have to say, and being very intentional about that as you're opening up, and thinking about your past and your present, right? So if you're somebody here who's worked 10 years in customer service, that might be something on how you open up in your introduction or elevator pitch. My name is so-and-so. I have 10 plus years of experience in customer service. And then you can go into talking about some of your strengths, your skills, any certifications, education that you have, any accomplishments. Typically, a good elevator pitch is going to be around 2 to 3 minutes. So you don't want to get off topic. You want to stay very tight knit on topic about who you are, where you've been, and what you have to bring to the table, and also where you're going, future. So career goals, express interest in the role, company, and the program, and then anything you are interested in learning more about that organization. These are some of the common elevator pitch mistakes. So too long or too short. 1 to 3 minutes is typically ideal where we want to be when we're introducing ourselves. We're introducing ourselves. Overly personal. So we don't want to get off topic. We don't want to veer off and talk about personal, unrelated information to the purpose and the reason why you're talking to that individual, which we want to keep on track, which is about the job opportunity or networking, whatever it might be. And then not knowing your audience. So know who you're talking to, right? Know the company, the organization, know the ins and outs of what they do. Again, relevant current events that they have going on. Know who you're talking to. You also want to have something in your mind, right, that you can come out and say as you're networking to individuals, but at the same time, you don't want to memorize it too much. So know what you want to say, but at the same time, you want to come across as conversational and personable at the same time, and not robotic-like. And then you don't want to be too vague and not concise. So attending the virtual career fair next month, we do have a career fair coming up next month. These are some of the suggestions and advice that we have for you when it comes to your Career Circle profile. So we recommend that you upload any relevant certificates or certifications that you have. Make sure you get these uploaded to your profile. Make sure that whatever resume you have is the most up-to-date resume loaded to your profile. You can upload your profile picture, make sure you have that, and then add any personal information there, city, state, phone number. Also include the link to your LinkedIn profile. Make sure you have that there. And then these are some nice to-haves here. So set up job alerts. You can set up 5 maximum job alerts there. You can add employment preferences, whether you want full-time, part-time, remote, hybrid, or office work. And you can also include your compensation preferences. So if you have not updated your profile, please make sure it is updated with at least the recommended information here on this slide. Also, we have free IBM skills build courses available now to you on various topics. These are some of the topics here that are recommended. You can check those out. Also, if you click on the content, I think it's the content tab on the right side of your screen, you'll be able to see our resources there, additional articles and support for you, but you'll be able to access the IBM Skills Build courses information there. You can also take a picture here of this QR code and then go ahead and get enrolled in those courses. It's a free resource. It's a great way for you to upskill. So if you're looking to gain skills in some other area or the industry that you're in, please take advantage of that. It'd be a great opportunity for you. The link to enroll is in the content tab and will be shared in our post-event email as well.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. You've given us a wealth of knowledge these last. I think that we might have time for two questions. First question is there anything else I access or anywhere else that I can access courses besides LinkedIn? And what do you recommend if I don't know where to start?
Okay, yes, great question. So I'm assuming that question probably came before the IBM Skills Build information was shared. So yeah, LinkedIn Learning is just one great way for you to gain some upskilling and coursework. And again, thousands of topics that you can explore there. Also, Coursera is another option that you can look into, but they also have a subscription as well. But IBM Skills Build is where it's at. So again, free courses available to you on all kinds of topics. And we are also going to share that information out to you. So you'll have complete access to it. But I encourage you, anyone here on the call, that if you have not enrolled in those courses already, that you should definitely take advantage of this great opportunity.
I love that response. Free, FREE. All right. The second question is if I don't have LinkedIn Premium, I believe there is a limit to how many notes we can send with connection requests. Do you have a way around this?
Good question. So that is correct that if you do not have the LinkedIn Premium, you do not always have access or the ability to just message or connect to anyone. Well, you can connect to anyone, but if you were to want to message them, you get what's called in-mails. So you can message them through those in-mails, but you only get so many of those. So the best way to go about being able to, without having to get that premium account, is to go ahead and pay for the subscription. Or I'm sorry, with first send them a note to connect, and then if you connect with them, then you can message them at no cost. But if you're wanting to send a note, obviously before that, then you'll have to pay for the premium profile. So unfortunately, that's the only downfall, is that you only get so many of those in-mails to send over. So that's the only way around it. Getting the premium account so that you can bypass that, or just sending the connection request. And then after you send the connection request, then sending that quick note to them on the purpose, obviously, and intention of why you connected with them.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And thank you, everyone that have joined us. Please stay until the end. I have some important information. We'll be sending you a post-event email, which will include a recording as well as all of the resources we spoke about today. You can access our event survey by using the QR code earlier in the presentation or by locating it in the email that'll be coming out shortly. We'll be doing a raffle with all respondents, and one of you will win a Career Circle tote bag. Make sure to like and follow us on socials to stay up to date on all platform updates. Once again, we thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you all leave here today feeling empowered and ready to build your network with confidence. We've had a ton of fun today. Please join us for our upcoming events, including webinars, networking events, and virtual career fairs. You can view all events and register on careercircle.com/events. Thank you and see you next time. Bye-bye.